mic. Holy crap. What the hell? Yo, we have a guest today. I kind of messed it up, but I don't really give a shit. What is up, everybody? From wherever you are watching or listening, we welcome you into the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. Sure. We have an absolute doozy for you today. So glad that you are here. But before we get into any of that, if you are not a current YouTube subscriber, hit that subscribe button down below. Drop a like and a comment down below as well. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, do us a big favor and give us those ratings. They help us go a long way. In today's show, we have a returning guest. And this is going to be a lot of fun.
A staple of gambling Twitter.
A staple of gambling Twitter is right. Also, he's one of the biggest workhorses in all of gambling Twitter, in the sports gambling industry as a whole. And the last time we spoke to this man was late October of 2021. It's now February of 2023. So a lot of things have happened. We're so happy to catch up with him on many different topics, what he's been up to, what we've been up to, the NBA, the Super Bowl, Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. We got an absolute show for you guys today. Without further ado, it is Prop Holliday and the Mr. fucking Bobby Stanley Jr. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Bobby. Let's get him in here.
There he is.
Uh-oh.
There he is.
There he is. Oh, my God. What up?
Oh, we can't hear you. Can't hear you. Wait,
Can't hear me.
Oh, no, yes,
we
can.
We're good.
What up, fellas?
What's going on, my guy? How things been? It's been a minute since you talked to us. Obviously, it's Prop Holiday. Since we last talked, you've had like a little Prop Holiday. So how things been? Obviously, congratulations on having a child. How's that adjustment been with you, adding a new person to the household?
About as life-changing as everyone makes it out to be. It's crazy, man. It's weird. I mean, the hours kind of change. You learn to not sleep as much. You learn to get by with the little sleep you have. And then you got to balance real work, other real work, family life. If you want to try to do anything in your personal life, it's pretty crazy. But it's fun, man. It's the greatest experience of my life. I love being a dad. It's really cool. His name is Jackson Miles Stanley. I call him Jack.
Yeah, I know. I saw on the Twitter bio, Jack's dad, right at the beginning.
That's me. That's top billing. Everything else falls under that.
Well, listen, dude, we really, really appreciate this. It has been so long. I was just saying before you came in, it was late October of 2021. We're literally in February of 2023. So, like, so many things have changed. I mean, like, it's been just so long. We've kept up with some of the guys that have been here since the beginning with us, that have come on frequently. But then we got into our own things, and kind of the guests have gone down a little bit. So it's just good to, we were saying when we were getting started, we were like messing with some of like we forgot to put the camera on this side. We forgot to do this. I'm like, dude, it's been a while since we have a guest. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
You guys were the first to really interview me. October was the month after I hit like my big parlay that kind of got me some notoriety. Started working with Dimers right after that, and then you guys went on a college tour. Yeah. I remember following you around. You're going around the South and shit. It was awesome. Crazy times.
Hell yeah, dude. Before we get into like, you know, the big things of the changes and that tweet, because that's, you know, Manny had texted me and was like, dude, this is going to be crazy if we can, you know, get the opportunity to talk to you again. But we had some things over the weekend. We want to touch on the Super Bowl, obviously. But I want to start, you know, I saw you were doing some tweeting a little bit about the fight this weekend with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. I'm curious if there were any wagers there, because I know FanDuel, I don't think they offered any bets there. What did you think of the fight?
So apparently in Jersey they didn't. I was tweeting like I can't find lines, and I tried all the major books like BetMGM, Caesars, DraftKings, FanDuel. I couldn't find anything, but apparently it was a state-by-state thing. I was actually in Hoboken that weekend on like a brunch bar hop thing, but I was tracking Twitter on my phone. I mean, from what I heard, Jake Paul is a legit fighter, and I think he's kind of going the Floyd Mayweather route of hate buys pay-per-views too. If you hate me, you will watch. You do not have to love me. And I mean, the guy's in great shape. He hits like a ton of bricks. He finally fought call him a real fighter in Fury. He's a professional boxer. The fight that I wanted to see was the one that he lined up with Hasim Rahman Jr. I don't know if you guys know who he is. His father was a legit heavyweight contender. Rahman we can curse, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Rahman was a bad motherfucker. He was the one, he was the fight that we should have gotten, and they had issues with the weight. And then Tommy Fury ended up being it because it's a name. It'll draw overseas tickets. But I heard, I would imagine there's gonna be a second fight, and Jake Paul's a real fighter. He's. I'll probably buy the next one. I don't hate the guy as much as I did maybe 2 years ago.
Wait, a second fight between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury? You're saying?
I would imagine, yes.
Yeah. Well, in the contract, if Tommy won, Jake would have the ability to say, I want a rematch. But if Jake won, Tommy couldn't do the same. So I thought that was just corny.
What do you think the sharp angle would be going forward for that? Do you think like the public is going to be all over Jake Paul now? Or do you think it's kind of like they seen him get beat up and everyone was kind of hating Jake Paul? So now everyone's going to kind of run to bet Tommy again? Like, how do you think it's going to play out?
I was shocked that Paul was a favorite in that fight. It was just overwhelming public money on him, which is probably why they had to balance out the purse and get more money on Fury. I would imagine Paul is an underdog. He knows what to expect. He did go he went the distance, 8 rounds with him. I would probably bet Jake Paul in the comeback, I guess. I mean, the guy's got nothing else to do.
I thought the whole shit was rigged. I was honestly shocked they let him lose.
Did you see the whole script thing? I didn't believe that at all.
I did.
Once I saw that going on Twitter, once you see that going on Twitter, you're like, all right, this is bullshit. All right, come on.
But then you saw like one of the things, it was like Tommy's gonna get like his eye's gonna get cut or something, and and then like late in the fight, like Jake's head ran into his like eyelid and it was bleeding, and it was like, oh, there's the cut, and I'm like, oh my god, if you like, come on.
No, I tweeted it out that I saw something. It was like Sports Bible, which is like a European Instagram account, tweeted it out. Do I believe it? No. Do I think there's entertainment in putting these out? Just like the Super Bowl, we talked about the Super Bowl, just like the Super Bowl script that came out. No, people are just having fun with it, man. It's gotten a little bit far with everything is rigged.
I know, and then you took us right to where you wanted to go. So look, we spoke. Manny and I did our show last week, kind of going over the Super Bowl.
An unfortunate show
for Manny as a diehard Philly fan. You were on the Chiefs against the Bengals in the AFC Chip game, and we actually did mention you on our Championship Sunday show because I was all over the Bengals. And Manny was like, oh, so you're fading Prop Holliday. And I was like, fuck yeah, I am. Because I was all Joe Burrow, doing his whole thing again. I called him last year. And this year obviously wasn't the same. So we already had our thoughts on it. I'm just curious, don't go too hard into the Philly fan. But what were your thoughts on the game, on the Super Bowl?
Awesome game. Awesome Super Bowl, high scoring. Like most things, nothing's I was 100% right or 100% wrong. There's some shit I was right about, some shit I was wrong about. I was wrong about Jalen Hurts. When you talk about Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, and I do think there's tiers. I think Burrow and Mahomes are in a tier. I think you got to drop Josh Allen down into that Lawrence Herbert tier. But that second semi-elite is Jalen Hurts. So I was wrong about him. Where I was right was I thought the Philadelphia Eagles rush defense was very, very exposable, particularly to the right side. That was kind of my angles with a lot of my player props. I was huge on Pachenko. His longest rush was like my biggest play. It was over 13 and a half. He had like 21. And then my big bet was it was Jerick McKinnon to score and Chiefs win. I put like 160 to win like 800, and he falls down at the fucking one. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, that's right. We said that.
But they were, I would say this. The Eagles were head and shoulders the best team in the NFC. There was no question about that. It's just if you're giving me Patrick Mahomes as an underdog, I also think the Super Bowl, that whole week, that matters. That experience and being there and being comfortable and that whole radio row, if you go through that and your pulse doesn't go up, I think that's really well. And if the Eagles played the Chiefs 10 times, they maybe win 6 or 7 of them. But if you're giving me one game, I'm putting my money on Patrick Mahomes.
So from like a neutral standpoint, a non-Philadelphian, what I've been hearing for the last 3 weeks standpoint, why do you think the Eagles lost that game? Obviously, I don't think you would chalk it up to the holding penalty or anything like that. But like from your POV, why did the Eagles lose that game?
The Chiefs scored in every possession in the second half.
Yep.
You can't. You have to come up with a stop at some point. You cannot let them score in every single possession. And then it really puts Jalen Hurts in a bind that he has to. He was playing outstanding, and it's like you not only have to match what Mahomes is doing, you have to go above and beyond because your defense isn't helping you out that much more. So the second half, I would say, is why the Eagles lost that game.
Yeah, I just thought it was. We can put this in there at that. What Jason Kelce said and Travis Kelce said on their podcast, New Heights, after the game, that, Jalen Hurts could have won MVP by a long shot, and they didn't even win the goddamn game. I mean, this was historic. And I had said to Manny, he got mad when I said this. When Mahomes went down at half, going into half, and they were up 24-14, up 10 going into half in the Super Bowl, I said, well, I'm living in Philly as a New York fan. Guess I got to go watch this parade now. I mean, I got to go watch this again. This game's over. And then classic Philly fans are like, you can't say it until it's over because, like, the teams just find a way. So we can still at least say it was like, I mean, I'd put that Super Bowl up against a lot of others in recent history in terms of, you know, offense versus defense. The big thing that Manny said is no sacks allowed from that Chiefs offensive line, which was huge. I mean, we thought it was going to be the other way around. You know, to the Eagles offensive line. But I mean,
you said something that was interesting because you did like the tier thing about quarterbacks, and he had said something in that episode that we said about Joe Burrow that took me by surprise. And Colin Cowherd said the same thing, kind of putting him on the same tier as Patrick Mahomes. So can you, off the top of your head, rank your like top 5 quarterbacks right now? Because I honestly, after that, the way you started off, I'm actually really interested to hear dropping Josh Allen down. Jalen Hurts kind of moving in that tier. Like, what's your top 5 right now?
Now that Brady's out of league, Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. I don't know why I love Justin Herbert so much. He hasn't been as successful as Trevor Lawrence.
But Kellen Moore's a good addition there. Kellen Moore's a big addition there for Justin Herbert.
No. That definitely is like, I was shocked Staley didn't get the boot. But let me go Mahomes, Burrow, Allen. I would put Jalen Hurts above Trevor Lawrence for my number 5. Jalen Hurts is the 5th best quarterback.
See?
I like
100%.
that. I like that.
100%.
But like the Herbert love is it's getting to the point where it's like, why? He just finally made the playoffs. He completely blew a lead.
Yeah.
I think it's things that you see that you can't quantify in this kid that you think can be special. And it's like a quiet confidence. He's not the boisterous kind of guy. They didn't get any help from their defense, no matter how talented it was on paper. They were just it was an open door. But yeah, I still really like Herbert, but you know, Trevor Lawrence is going to be special. He needed a coach, so he's up there, and then we'll see what the new crop is. And Hurts won me over.
And you get Calvin Ridley too with Trevor Lawrence, and so that's going to be something special too. Yo, loving the wine there. You said it.
Yes, sir.
You said you were going to do it.
Yes, sir.
I'll go a little out of order here. Before we get into NBA stuff, just kind of want to go over your timeline a little bit here. Like I said, it's been a very, very long time. You've done so many big things.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Talk to us about, like, you know, all this stuff with featured on SiriusXM, NBC Sports Bet, all this stuff with PicksWise. Like, where was that established, and where were your thought process in terms of like how this can help, you know, generate a bigger opportunity for you in your career in sports gambling industry?
So when you guys first put me on, you know, two years ago, I was with Dimers for all of kind of that year. I went to the Super Bowl. I didn't go to the game. I covered the Super Bowl for Dimers, worked with them all throughout NBA. And then my injury happened last April 2022. And I reached out to Dimers and said, you know, my wife's pregnant. I have this major injury. I tore my Achilles. I don't know how much time I'm going to need to recover. I don't know what I'm going to be capable of. I'm going to be bedridden, essentially. I was on disability from my real job. And they're like, no problem. Take all the time you need. When do you think you'll be back? I was like, I think I'll be back probably like NBA Finals. So this was like late to mid-April. And they're like, all right, cool, no problem. And then a month into my injury recovery, I was a slug. I'm laying on the couch and watching sports all day. I was like, I have to do something. I have to handicap. So I reached back out to Dimers, like, hey guys, I'd love to come back. You know, I'm feeling up to it. And they're like, well, you know, you kind of told us you needed this much time, so we had to we took your funds and we allocated them to other people. We could bring you on doing like proper chop, but we don't have that same spot available to you. I said, totally understand. This was on me. I ended up changing my mind. It's a business. Totally get it. And then I just started shopping myself around. I kind of took that summer as I'm a free agent. Let me see what I can do. I shopped myself around to PicksWise. I started doing a couple of their shows like as a guest spot. And they, you know, Dan and all those guys at PicksWise really like me. And they're like, we want to make you our face of player props. So originally they had Prop Bet Guy, you're familiar with Prop Bet Guy.
Yep.
He went on to Action Network. Like, we have a spot available for player props, but we also would like the video piece, the not just the written, but the video piece. And that's what I love doing. And they made me their player prop guy for this season going into NBA. And it's been awesome. I feel like I got exposure to a different side of all of this. I got kind of when I started in gambling Twitter, it was, the backroom guys that, we were just kind of giving out free picks. There's like the VIP Discord stuff. We're all just shooting the shit, hanging out. And then I kind of got exposed to, I guess, the more formal corporate side. But in that, I mean, I did NBC Sports Edge today. I was on Sirius XM for like all of the NFL playoffs, and it's more than I ever thought I could take this to. I mean, I just created this account because I love betting on player props and figured I'd share, and I wanted 500 followers, and now I got like 19,000. So this is all icing on the cake. And if it ends tomorrow, I've already lived my dream.
That's crazy how it all worked out for you. And like you said, like, you feel like you're doing more than you ever have. And like, when people have a kid, they say like they get that like motivation, that kick up. And like, you took the Achilles injury and your wife's pregnancy and all that, and like it kind of morphed into one crazy kind of run. Like, can you explain how that, like, what it was like dealing with that, like kind of the highs and lows of dealing with both having a child and your injury, like both two major things that, like, it's just insane.
It was the most stressful year of my life, hands down, because I mean, if you just look at the pregnancy thing, my wife was a high risk pregnancy. That shit can get scary. Anytime you go to a doctor and you're like, is the heartbeat okay? That's like that really that shit weighs on you. You're like, I don't care if it's a boy, I don't care if it's a girl, I just want a happy, healthy kids.
Right.
Then with my Achilles, I was crippled. I was hurt. I actually tore it twice. I was hurt and bedridden probably from April, started rehab around end of May. I didn't really walk normal till middle to end of July. And I should be taking care of my wife, waiting on her hand and foot, and she's doing it for me. So that's a little bit of added stress. And then plus, I got a regular 9-to-5 job. That shit don't go away. Bills still need to be paid.
Damn straight.
And then during all that, I'm trying to make this. I want this to be my career. Obviously, I'm not pulling any punches. I want to talk sports and betting for the rest of my life. So you have to devote a certain amount of time to that and still keep the lights on. So it was a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Take us through kind of, I know with all like the things that you mentioned that you've been doing, kind of the balance of what that takes to, balance all the stuff that you're doing on top of the 9-to-5, because, you're saying you're doing these shows during the NFL playoffs and you're doing NBA and for picks wise, and you're writing these articles. Like, where's the
PT in there somewhere?
Like, where do you find the time? Like, you did the show today, and I mean, I saw the clip. I know your picks today. Bucks -6.5. I like the analysis on that one, by the way. Where's the balance? How do you find that, and where does it kind of come from?
Day starts at 6 a.m. Wake up at 6. I'm the first one. I wake up with my son. His bassinet's next to me. Feed him in the morning. Hand him off to my wife. I'm down in this seat probably by 7 a.m. if I'm working from home. And then I'm here from 7 a.m. till 5 or 6. And I'll have, and while I'm doing, I pretty much do both jobs simultaneously. I block off some hours on my calendar where I'll be like, all right, this hour I'm going to handicap. This hour I got to do my other job. And then I watch sports probably from the first tip-offs at 7 a.m. And then I usually fall asleep by halftime of the West Coast games. I can't make it much more. So I'll pass out by 11. But it's a balancing act. I credit it all to my wife. She lets me do this. The shitty part is weekends, man, because weekends is, at least during NFL, the stretch where I was doing NBA and NFL at the same time was not enjoyable just because of the workload. I was writing 7 articles a week just for NFL, 3 articles a week just for NBA. I'm doing 3 shows a week. And if somebody says, hey, Bob, you want to jump on Sirius XM? Bob, you want to jump on NBC Sports? I'm like, well, someone could see me on these shows. I can't tell them no. I'm not in a position where I could tell someone no. So I just say yes to everything. And it's kind of mellowed out because NFL has gone away. But that October to end of January is I would say it was crazy. I'm on fucking blood pressure meds. It's not sunshine and rainbows.
I love it. Is there any have you had that realization where it's like the time you had like pre having a kid and post having a kid, has it been like an insane realization for you yet? Like I had so much time before that I don't have now, or has it not been like that yet? Do you feel it coming, or how's that going?
The volume is turned up. I would look at it like that. Like I've made a deal with my wife. Like you remember Will Smith said his parents like, you got to go to college. He's like, give me 1 year, and if I don't make it as a rapper, I'll go to college. Mm-hmm. And I had to have a similar conversation with my wife where it's like, give me like a year or two. Yeah. And if I can't make this, I will humbly bow out. And I mean, I'll still do Twitter. I'll still send out pics, but like the shows, the articles, if I don't make it by my own standards, I will humbly step away. Like, give me this 2-year window. And she's like, well, the first year, your son's probably not remembering this. He's not making memories, let's be honest. Yeah. But you want to be there for, Little League and, Boy Scouts, whatever the fuck it is. So I'm taking this window and I got to run with it. This is kind of how I'm looking at it. I think I'm lucky in the sense that I've worked a job that I've liked, didn't love, not passionate about, did it for the money, doing it for the money. So I just put that much more into this. I don't want to work a job that feels like work. Like handicapping doesn't feel like work, because I've had that, because I've worked jobs I don't like. I know how important this is to make the most of it. I don't want my son to see his father just getting up every day and humming it and then enjoying his weekends, being a weekend warrior. Like I want to wake up and be the happiest person I can be, so he could see that. So I'm putting a lot into like the next year and a half.
Let's go, man. You hit the clap sound for a guy. Let's go.
Like, I mean, we've been saying that for a long time.
What does Flay say? Look at Curry, man. So inspirational.
Sensational. Yeah, no, we're in the same boat. Like, and I remember when we spoke to Kyle, I had said before I got my full-time job, I was like, I don't want to do this at all. Like, I don't want to have to work a 9 to 5. It was like, same thing. It was like, give us some time and like, let's see what happens. But like, money goes fucking fast when you're trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you don't have income coming in and you're trying to make it, that shit leaves twice as fast. And then it's like, you have a realization. But then you have like, family members and relatives that are like, you need to think about like a plan B. And I'm like, there is no fucking plan B, because the minute you start thinking about a plan B, then it's like the disbelief is there. And when the disbelief is there, then it's over. So like, yes. We've just been frustrated at like, it doesn't happen overnight, and like it shouldn't, but like consistency is key. And like we've seen, like I've even seen like these clips of everybody that's made it, and they're like, this shit's not hard. It's not. The hardest part is consistency. If you post shit every day and you're out there every day, then eventually you are going to get there. The professionalism will come. The lights and the mics will come. But the consistency aspect of it is the only thing that's going to get you there. I just had to go off on that for a second, because like that shit fired me the fuck up, dude. Like I've been pissed off. Like I don't want to wake up every day and do this. My Monday is your fucking Saturday. That's what I'm trying to think of it like. I don't want to go, oh, you see all these people you just call the weekend warriors. I busted my ass for 40 hours a week, 40-hour weeks. And then like once Friday night comes, like, nice, let's go to the bar. And then Saturday, let's go to the bar. And then Sunday scaries. And then let's do it all over again. Like, we're in a generation where we don't have to fucking do that. What's wrong with saying that?
I will say this, and I don't know what you're doing as kind of your full-time gig. Having the work from home flexibility has made a lot of this more possible. Companies are making you go back to that in office, but like, so mine, they want us in the office 3 days a week.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan. I mean, I would rather be home 1 or 2, I'd rather be in the office 1 or 2 or none. But I got a mortgage, I got a kid to feed. I don't have that luxury. I have to have these 18-hour days if I ever wanted to get to that. And that's a choice I'm making. But the work from home flexibility, I think has made it a lot easier, at least a little bit easier. But it's tough, man. It's tough. Doing something you love is as long as it doesn't feel like work. The hard part for me is being in New Jersey, it's expensive as fuck. Like my taxes are $1,000 a month. That's just for the right to pay for my house, I have to give the government $1,000. So I'm very lucky. I work for a good company. They take good care of me and job security and everything. I can't just abandon that to take a 50% pay cut to live my dream. I don't have the luxury because I've had opportunities where I think I could have made say half to 60% of what I was making, but we wouldn't have a house. We probably couldn't afford to have a child. So I don't have that type of luxury. I put my family first. But the downside of that is I'm gonna grind it out every other which way I can. And that means you wake up Saturday morning, you're working weekends, you're working Sundays, you're working nights. When they go to sleep at 9, 10 o'clock, I'll be in this office sometimes, not a lot, but like 11, 12. Can I get a jump on an article? Can I get a jump on some research for a show I'm doing? Because you don't just jump on and start sounding like shit. I got to make my own script. I got to have my bullet points lined up for that Nets -6.5. It's got to sound natural. So you just make the most. Sleep is.
I was gonna say, what's the average hours of sleep looking like? Do we have like a Whoop tracking us? Do we just say fuck it at this point? I'm getting like 3.
As soon as I started having issues with my heart, I got rid of the Whoop or whatever the Fitbit was gone when I found out what my heart rate was. So that shit's out the window. I probably get 6 hours of broken. But I would rather take 4 hours straight. So, like, if my son wakes up and his pacifier comes out, wham, put the pacifier in. You wake up in the middle of the night, oh shit, is the blanket on his face? Is he still breathing? Okay, go back to sleep. It's not. So it's like 6 hours of broken sleep. But you don't really need much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, for grinders like you. Let me just bring it back to the articles for a second. As you were mentioning those articles, since you've been writing so much and now you're getting more kind of as a on-camera personality, what have you kind of favored? Have you favored the longer nights of banging out all those articles as a writer, or do you like the more of the research aspect of and then taking that on camera to expressing your knowledge in front of the camera?
I want to be on camera. I prefer being on camera. So I'm 33, in my early 20s, mid 20s. I try to do stand-up comedy. Failed at that, but gave it a shot. For my job, I'm in sales. I'm an account manager. I have to be in front of people presenting. I've done presentations. I got involved in grad school. I was the vice president of graduate affairs. I was doing like public speaking, running for office. So I like speaking. I think it's a strength of mine that I can come here and talk to you guys about anything, and it looks natural and feels natural. And I do a good job of making people feel comfortable in the room. I've been lucky enough in my career where people are like, you talk to the janitor the same way you just talked to that CEO. And I said, yeah, because that's how you should treat people, but it brings people's defense levels down and makes them more comfortable. And it just makes communicating a lot better. That's translated for me in the betting space. People reach out to me on Twitter. They want to chop it up about NBA, about props. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? I answer everybody. I talk to everybody. I want people to think I'm approachable. I am. I don't want them to think that. I am approachable. But I want to be on camera, and I think it's a strength of mine, the way I can communicate.
I was going to say, through your socials and through your IGs and stuff like that, you're like a really approachable guy. I feel like a lot of people probably reach out, talk to you, ask you questions and stuff like that. You had an interesting take in your Pickswise article about MVP. And you said, obviously, it was about the MVPs. You wouldn't bet on Jokic right now, obviously, because his odds are probably through the roof. But do you think he's going to win MVP again or not? Because I couldn't really draw that conclusion from the article. And my guy's there, and I'm always interested in that. For the last 3 years, he's been, I think, robbed.
So before I go, my preseason pick was Embiid. I thought he should have got one of the 2 last years. I do think he's still in contention, being the 3 seed in the East doesn't help. As far as Jokic, the end of the article, I said bets to make, I'd stay away entirely or sprinkle a few bucks on Giannis. And we know this award is it's very narrative driven. I'm not going to sit here and fucking vorp you to death with Jokic stuff, but his season is arguably more impressive than last year's. Now the Nuggets are the number 1 seed. If I look at it, unless they stumble or he stumbles, I don't really see that. They're going to have the 1 seed in the West. The reason I thought Giannis had some value is he's highest points per game for his career. I think Luka will drop down in points per game with the addition to Kyrie, so he has the chance to be the scoring leader for the season. And then the Bucks just overtake the Celtics as the 1 seed in the East. there's an argument to be made. Now he missed, one or two games that's going to hurt him, but I think it's going to be Jokic. He's going to be the fourth guy to win 3 straight. You know who the other 3 are?
Like,
was
it Bill, Will? Am I out to any kind of good start
here?
You got 2. Bill, Will, Jerry?
It's close. Another white guy.
Larry won 3.
Yep, you got
Larry.
It.
Larry.
It's Bird. Wow. It's Bird, Will, and Russell. And those guys are, no matter what your top 10 or 15 are, they're in it. I don't think Jokic is that guy, but he's going to win an award that puts him in that category. Giannis could be that guy, but no, I do think he wins it. It sucks. I don't like awards being kind of decided. I want something to go down the end, but he's going to average a triple-double, leads the league in win shares, box score plus minus. He's that guy.
Respectable.
Do you think Jokic will finish the year averaging a triple-double? He's very close to...
What's he at right now? I do think I think he'll come. See, that's the problem with these European guys. They don't give a shit about what average Americans do. You saw it with the All-Star game. So he's at 25, 11.7, and 10. Right now, I think he'll average a triple-double. The assist will be what takes him off, but right. I do think he gets it.
So
they just don't care about that stuff.
They're one in the East. Obviously, we got Kyrie out there now. KD's out there now. What do you think's gonna go down in these West playoffs? Because they might be one of the best West playoffs that we ever seen. Like, who do you think's gonna make it out, or who do you think's gonna be in your Western Conference Finals at least?
My Western Conference Final is gonna be the Suns and the Mavericks.
Ooh.
I do not think Denver just reminds me of Utah. You know how Utah was like the best team in a regular season every year? Oh my God, this is the Jazz's year. Gobert and Mitchell. And then they shit the bed. Why? Because we're playing tougher. We're calling less fouls. You're only playing 7 guys. The game slows down a little bit. I'm not buying the Nuggets. Maybe they make it to the Western Conference Finals, but I wouldn't put money on it. I think it's going to be Suns and Mavericks, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the East, I would have Bucks and Celtics, and we get Giannis and KD. And I think this is the next 20 games. I think is shaping up to be some of the best basketball we've seen probably since 2016 with Warriors and Cavs.
I like that.
Well, I mean, it was crazy. At least just post All-Star break, the past week that we've had in the NBA. I mean, just Saturday and Sunday alone was absolutely insane. Had LeBron and the Lakers doing their thing, the Clippers then with the buzzer beater that didn't count in overtime, and
Joel Embiid just did it again where he throws the ball 0.1 seconds after the fucking shot clock and from 80,000 feet. You know what I mean? He did this for the second time.
I watched that live with my father-in-law, and he doesn't watch basketball. He was just hanging out playing on his phone. I was like, a couple seconds left. You should watch this. Tatum hits a 3, 1.8 seconds, and he was half a second off of.
Oh my God!
Dude, the whole stadium went berserk. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, just the NBA alone. It's also been. I feel like just post All-Star break, it's been a lot more fun to bet on. I'm a Knicks fan, so last night was huge against the Celtics, and they were +2, by the way.
They say you guys are gonna get a superstar now. Windhorst says you guys are gonna get a superstar. You hear about that?
Yeah, and I mean, right now. After Nets lost, I believe it was 2 nights ago, the Knicks weren't playing. This was before they had the Celtics. And then just from the Nets loss, they were now tied for the 5th seed. At least as a Knicks fan, I have to be excited that they might be able to win a series.
Win a series is crazy.
They might not have to play in a playing game.
There you go. There we go. I like that.
I mean, we don't have to see Trae Young go do his thing in the Garden again.
Yeah. No, I think the Knicks are going to be a tough out in the first round. I love the addition of Josh Hart. Questionable. I mean, I've always had questionable things for Tibbs. Like, why couldn't you make more out of Cam Reddish? Why doesn't Obi Toppin play more? Things like that. But he likes his guys. Quentin Grimes, one of his guys. Quickly, one of his guys. So you got to trust the guy. But Brunson exceeded expectations. Randall looks like Randall from. Was it 2 years ago when he looked like he was talked about as an MVP candidate? Sure. RJ Barrett, I'm kind of on the fence about, but no, there's no reason they can't get out of the first round, depending on who the matchup is. For sure. Let's talk a little bit about the trade deadline. Obviously, KD's making his debut with the Suns. What
what were kind of your thoughts with these big names going? Kyrie bitching, gets his way out. KD bitching, gets his way out. And then we just, let's just remember all like the cliche social media stuff of when Ja had said, I'm fine in the West or whatever. And then now it's all,
Pump your brakes, man. I love Ja. I think he's awesome. I think his sneakers dope. I think his sister looks exactly like him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would say so. Kyrie, I was selfish. I'm a diehard LeBron fan. I've always rooted for LeBron James. I wanted to see Kyrie go to the Lakers, and apparently that was going to happen. Except the owner of what's his name, Joe Tsai, was like, nah, you screwed us. I'm gonna take a lesser deal. Because they would have got both picks. They would have got Russ. I forget what else.
He had said like he was just making sure for a fact that Kyrie would not end up as a Laker. And then,
all right, dude.
Kind of a moot point because he's a free agent at the end of the season. He'll be a Laker next year if you want. Your job is to run the Brooklyn Nets, not ruin Kyrie Irving. And you have to get the best deal possible. I think those two those two unprotected first-round picks for the Lakers were the most prized asset in the NBA trade deadline. Because if you look at 27 and 29, the Lakers are going to be lottery picks. I mean, we saw what it's good. Like the Pelicans are probably going to get a top 3 pick. Well, we're going to get a top 3 pick if the Lakers tanked. That was my most prized asset at the trade deadline. And if I'm the Nets, I value that. But that's just me. Kyrie and Luka is awesome to see. I think they make the Western Conference Finals. Durant, I was blown away. I mean, we talked about him going there. I think it was before the season. He wanted to go to Phoenix. And then kind of what the Nets did, I like it's a log jam at like swing, small forward, power forward. They just got like 5 or 6 of these guys, it feels like. But that could shake out into something over the course of a couple of years. They ended up moving Jay Crowder and stuff. So it was the moves that people don't really talk about that the NBA fan in me got really excited for.
So in this like last year, like FanDuel's kind of got a little weird. They like nerfed the lines down for the ladders and things have changed and rearranged. So how have you adjusted since we talked to you last? If it has been much at all, like have you changed how you bet a little bit or how have things changed for you?
One thing I noticed that doesn't get enough hype is there's no more -110. It starts at -114. Yep. Like just a standard is like that. That's a little thing that people should give more of a shit about. I would say I got a little more interested in ladders. If I feel really good about a play, I'll start laddering a guy, threes, points. I made a mistake in NFL and went heavy on the overs. I was looking at I track all my picks. I have an Excel sheet. Went over. Why? Because overs are more fun to bet. People want more overs than unders. Well, I'm not here to be more fun. I'm here to make money. So in the NBA, I've kind of not looked for more unders, but been more open to unders. In NFL, I was picking 71% on my unders. I only made 25 of them. So that's the shitty part. Right. So I'm trying to be more conscious of the unders, but it's hard when it's 71 performance from Dame. The floor spacing is ridiculous that these guys, the floor spacing and the effort in the regular season is laughable at sometimes. And obviously the blowouts and things like that. But the NBA has been fun. I've been picking a lot on, I really love Paolo Banchero. My first game of the season, I gave out a $5 parlay on Pickswise, and it was Jaden Ivey, Paolo Banchero, Josh Giddey, and it was $5 to pay $1,000, and it finished 1 3-pointer short. Damn. And he clanked it 30 seconds left. So I'm trying to look at guys that aren't as popular. Giannis lines are going to get nuked. Luka lines are going to get nuked. So it takes a little bit more time. The shitty part, at least with the articles, is really the timing. So a lot of these websites, and I totally get their point, they want articles with shelf life and clicks. And the longer it's on your site, the more traffic it drives and yada, yada, yada. The problem with that is your only lines up at 9 and 10 a.m. that day are Jokic, are Jamal Murray, are one other starter, and then 2 other starters. You're already at slim pickings, and you're already at guys that their lines are very, very sharp. I want the late minute scratch. I want Malcolm Brogdon lines. I want Pat Connaughton lines, and I got to wait 15 minutes before fucking tip to get a Pat Connaughton line. It drives me nuts. So trying to balance the need to live up to my obligation, but also be really be as sharp as I can be to get some good value.
And even with the strategic part of what you're talking about there, even if you wanted to get like an article out or something out, then 15 minutes before game time, you can't even stick that in because who the hell's going to read it before the game?
I know.
And you had your I had this up that I wanted to say. You had your one of your big hits from the NFL season that was it that plus almost plus 10,000 with your James Cook plays, 70 alt yards, the Cook touchdown, and then Justin Jefferson against the Giants on Christmas Eve there with the touchdown, and then 125 alt. That was $25 for about $2,500.
That was obviously, it was my big hit of the NFL. I'm not a big dollar better. I bet $25, $50. I keep it manageable. Like I said, like it's got to stay on.
Hell yeah.
But the coolest part about that one, my big hit was the 27,000 college football. This one felt cooler because it was on Christmas, and I had like my DMs were flooded. People tailed it, and they're like, "Dude, you just paid for my kid's Christmas. Dude, you just paid for this. You just saved Christmas." Shit like that. I went to a Christmas Eve party. My cousin didn't tell me he played it. I walked in the door like at halftime, and he's like, "Yo, I'm on board with you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I threw $25 on it too. We're riding together." And me and him were going, jumping, going berserk. Other people at the party had no idea what sports betting is, what gambling is. They just see him tackle me in the middle on Christmas Eve. What's going on? That one was really cool. And I think what got more traction than the actual tweet of that was some guy DM'd me. It was like, "Do you have a VIP Discord? Do you have a tip jar? Do you have a Venmo?" And I said, "Dude, just give it to somebody you see. It's that time of year. Inflation's through the roof. Times are tough. It's not the best out there. If you see some guy who needs it, go pay for it. If you're standing in line, pick up his grocery bill." Shit like that. Like that made me feel good that people understood that and shared that outline, that approach to it. And that actually got more traction than the pick itself.
Why? So like it's like something interesting about you, right? Because like you have this yearn to make this like your full-time gig, and you have the ability to be one of the sharper guys that we see, and people believe in you, and people would actually pay for your picks, and people are asking to tip you, but you won't make the VIP or anything like that to maybe like expedite that process. Is that something that's been ingrained in you for like a long time? Have you always been this way where it's like, listen, I'll take the longer way because it might be more fruitful this way? Or is that just something that you see how you want to execute it in this industry?
I think the reason I am the way I am is because the way everyone has a different way they want to make it in this space. And I think VIPs and Discords are fucking awesome. I mean, these guys, you're paying for a service that they're doing the work for you. They're the ones spending, up till midnight watching the games and researching, and they, you get all the white meat. They're taking all the fat away. So I do think there's I think there's a lot of value in it, and there's good ones out there. The way I want to make it is I want to be in a studio. I want to be on TV. I want to talk sports. Sometimes if you do go the VIP Discord route, those avenues may not look at you that way. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily agree with that approach. I think you should look at someone however good they are is how they should be viewed. But I want to be sitting on FanDuel TV. I want to be sitting on ESPN and do the bet show. Like that's how I envision myself. That's my goal. And if it's a stretch goal, fuck that. I mean, like, go for it. Don't dream small. So FanDuel TV is getting big. I want to be on that one day. You guys, you seem like you're kind of sneakerheads, culture guys like me. Complex Sports. I've been pitching myself to Complex Sports. Like, yo, you guys need a betting analyst on Complex. I want to be your Complex betting analyst.
Damn, that's true.
Let me, like,
you would fit the bill like a motherfucker, bro. For that, bro, you would fit the bill. Holy.
That's what I want. That's my, like, I want to be the Complex Sports betting guy.
Hell yeah, bro.
And I'm trying to position myself to do that. Being in New Jersey, I'm 35, 40 minutes away from Manhattan. I can drive to Connecticut where a lot of shows are. My first goal was doing stuff like this. Second one, get on radio, do NBC. I want to be in a studio. I want to be sitting there with my Jordan 1s on,
yes,
my Carhartt shirt, and my Levi's, and I want you to buy what I'm selling you on TV on Sunday before you watch football or watch the NBA Finals. So that's kind of why I didn't go that route. I do have a dream and a vision for myself. Everybody has a different path in gambling Twitter. I think that's what's awesome.
It's honestly a unique way of looking at it. I mean, when you put it like that, it's very simple to see, but honestly, I never would have thought at the way that these networks look at people that do the VIPs. You know what I mean? In a way of like, oh, maybe those avenues, like you said, won't, or those doors won't be as open as they were prior to that. And I know when we had the first conversation about this, at the very end of it, we had asked like, so are you going to do a VIP eventually? And you were like, no, like that's just not in my realm and where I want to do and where I want to go.
Yeah. But also I think some of the VIPs, a lot of it is, it is a Discord. So you're not really getting FaceTime. You can't just say to someone on a ESPN, like you've never done any camera work before. You're damn good at picking. You make a lot of people money, but I can't put you on camera. Maybe I can give you an analyst role. So I do think it is a little bit different. But that's kind of like Kenny. Kenny gets himself on camera. That man deserves a show. He deserves to be in that. I mean, he may not want that. He's got a fucking awesome setup and he plays golf, and I'm jealous of that shit. But no, I want people who do this to look at me and say, okay, he belongs. And I got a taste of that with Pickswise. I work with a guy, Jared Lee Smith. He just left Pickswise, learned a lot from him. He was on, he works for BetMGM, VSIN. I just want people who are in the industry to say, okay, he belongs here. That means a little bit more to me.
Yeah, I know. And you mentioned the golf as well. You obviously, there's no chance you've been remotely close to picking up a club with the Achilles, right?
No, I seen he said he was trying to break 100. And we had to go.
Twice.
Yeah, it was. Wait, so we did break 100.
No, I played twice.
Oh, okay.
I played in September or October. I shot a 93, legit 93.
Ew.
One of my best friends is assistant pro at a country club. One of my other best friends is a member at that country club. And he invited me and my other best friend, like, let's play a foursome at the country club. Let's go. This was last Monday, President's Day. So I'm like, all right, no doubt. Show up, get there. There's no carts, nothing.
Oh, you had
it's
to
empty.
walk?
So I get there, like, dude, I'm 10 months removed from surgery. Like, I can't walk with a 30-pound bag in my back. Like, I'm not making it. So I played 8 holes, and I was shooting, and I was like, shit. I mean, it's not. It's just, if you're bad, it's going all over the fucking course. Right. So I'm up a hill, down a hill, bunkers. I get to the 8th hole, par 3. Make a par, only par the first 8 holes, and it's closer to my car than it is the 9th going towards the back 9. So I was like, yo, guys, I'm out. Like, I see where this is going. Like, I just dipped and went to my car, and my friends gave me shit. They're still busting my balls, but they understood. Like, I'm not ready to walk 18 with a bag in my back yet. I'm not there yet.
Right.
How was that all? Like, the Achilles recovery and the PT, like, how tough was that on you? Was it light for you, or was it hard as they say?
I played sports. I mean, growing up, I broke a thumb, I broke my wrist, I broke both ankles. This was the biggest tendon in your body. So I was in a men's league, right? Can remember like it was yesterday. I grab a rebound, I give it up to the point guard. We go to start a fast break. I push off and it snaps. I hear it, I feel it ride up my calf. I drop. And you've seen football injuries, where they try to grab through the grass? Mm-hmm. I try to grab through the hardwood. I thought the other team's center, big dude, like 6'6", 270, I thought he stepped on the back of my leg. That's what it felt like. Somebody stepped on me. So my teammates picked me up, walked me up to the bench. I look at someone in the stands. I was like, yo, the big dude step on me. They're like, nobody was near you. And then that's when I knew it was my Achilles. So here's the fucked up part that I didn't really put on Twitter because it's tough to explain and very embarrassing. That's April 7th. I get the surgery April 12th. Quick turnaround. Surgery went well. I'm laying in bed, put the bed in the living room, can't do the stairs. My parents come over 2 or 3 days after, and I was like, yo, let's go get something to eat. And they're like, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, I'm on disability from work, so I'm off for like the next 2 months. I take my knee scooter, you've seen them, and I try to go down my front steps.
Oh, God.
So I put the knee scooter on the step. I grab both brakes.
No, you didn't.
The brakes rolled. The scooter goes. And instinctively, if you're falling, you stand up.
No, you didn't.
I ripped through everything. I nearly tore my mother down with me. Now I'm crawling army style back into my house, tears streaming down my face, not because it hurts, because I know what I just did. Called my ortho and was like, yeah, I tore my Achilles again. I show up, and my ortho's a young guy. He was like 45 years old. And he literally goes, what the fuck did you do? Like, all you had to do was nothing.
Not do anything, right?
He's probably going to name his yacht after me because he did 2 surgeries. The SS Bob Stanley is because I tore 2 Achilles. But the second, I mean, my scar is significantly bigger. The timetable for return is significantly longer. Like I should be playing basketball probably. I should have been playing maybe next month. Now he wants me to wait a year. It was the rehab process. Sorry to beat around the bush. It's you really have to learn how to walk again. And like right now, I can get up. I can get both legs up on the tip of my toes, but I can't get on. I can't get on my bad leg and go up on the tip of my toe.
Wow.
And part of that is, you ask, how do you do all the hours in the day? I should be continuing my physical therapy, even though like insurance kind of cut it off. I should be at an LA Fitness doing this on my own. I don't have the time. So my recovery has slowed a little bit, but I have vowed to play basketball again. I want my son to just be in the gym, sitting on a bleacher, holding him up, and like, there's dad trying playing 3-point line to 3-point line. I just want to hit a couple threes and I'm done, and I'll never play again. But I just want him to be there as I play a game.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really God, that's moving. I can't believe you like I'm still
Twice
just
is crazy.
I'm
Twice is
picturing
crazy.
you trying like falling down the stairs.
Twice is crazy.
So I put together the knee scooter, and I guess I didn't do the handbrakes well. So I squeezed the hell out of everything I have, and it just rolled out from underneath me. And when you fall, you stand up. That's just what your mind goes to. And it was awful, man. It was tough. My wife was like, I set everything back like another probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It was tough. It was the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life with the PT. What was cool is I went to a really cool physical therapy place that had like a lot of athletes. I didn't want to go to like a Kessler where they're like having grandmas work the rotator cuff.
Right.
I wanted to do a real thing.
Yeah.
Derek Lively was at my physical therapy place, kid from Duke, and a kid from Villanova. I can't remember his name, but he was on the team last year. He's a sophomore this year. His name is escaping me, but I saw some pretty cool athletes in there, and it was, motivating, but it's a lot, man. I had the big boots, the air-filled boots, I had the cupping, and I did acupuncture and felt like an athlete for a minute.
Gambling Twitter's Klay Thompson.
No cap. I mean, a quick like timeline of like where we have been at least, and we did kind of like a minor segment on it when we first started getting back into longer form content. There was like this poll on Twitter, or like a Google submit form to Sleeper Fantasy. I don't know if you're a big fantasy football guy at all, but like Sleeper Fantasy, it's bigger known for like if you're doing a dynasty league, which we did our first one ever this season.
Lost in a chip.
Yep. But so they just wanted to start doing content for player cards. Like if you're on ESPN Fantasy and you click like the Outlook, instead of reading something, there's like a 12 to 15 second clip of, if you should start, cut, or sit that guy. And we're not there to tell you to start Patrick Mahomes or, Lamar Jackson or Saquon Barkley. We're there to kind of give you like that insight on the statistics based on the defense that they're going against. Something along the lines of that. So we were recording and editing like 40 to 60 clips a week for them. So our longer form content kind of took a step back.
Definite backseat.
So, if you looked at the podcast, there was a jump on Apple Podcast. If like you were just an avid, Apple Podcast or Spotify listener, you would have seen one date of whenever, I don't know, before, like right when the football season started, and then like nothing until after the season. But we were still doing like segments where we would just record and not post it, but we would just break it down to clips. So then we could get stuff out, short form stuff out to TikTok to get views, short stuff out to Instagram just to get views, to show it was like that. But then, we got a couple comments here and there that were like, you haven't posted a podcast in like 4 months. And I'm like, it's a long story, bro. It's a long story. But yeah, we met a lot of great people at Sleeper. I hope they bring us back, but that was like a bigger step for us. It was, it was paid for the season. So normally we've been doing a lot of this stuff for, just to get exposure or to get experience. So it was definitely cool in that sense we're going to be doing a lot in terms of the editing side of it for all the other creators that were there, but we're getting compensated for it, which was like, oh, this is, there's a first for everything, when the money comes in. So yeah, that was kind of like the timeline of where, we've been. I mean, I didn't think we were it was literally like a Google form, and there was like 20,000 submissions or some crazy shit like that. And like, oh, I guess professionalism like may pay off, kind of.
Treat everything like an internship, man. Even if you like you do this for a year, do it for a season or whatever, you made a connection, you made a good impression, never burn a bridge, because you may see whoever that person was, whoever the connection was 2-3 years from now, and they're going to remember working with you and it went well. And they may have another opportunity. They may not be at Sleeper anymore. So right. I would just say always never burn a bridge, treat everything. If it ends, like the guys with Dimers, I have none but respect for those guys. If I saw Nick, if I saw Jason, I'd shake their hand. How you guys doing? Never burn a bridge in any industry you're in, because you never know when you're going to see these people down the road, and be someone you want to work with, because that just makes it easier. It may open a door for you years later. For sure.
Yeah, no, that was just our quick timeline there. I mean, it was just wanted to tell you that, just because I don't know, like we've been, trying to find a way now. Like this is now we're getting back into the guests of trying to interview people on a weekly basis now.
I think my question is, when's the next tea party?
Facts, dude. The
weather is breaking.
Yeah, we're getting there. We got a little drone set up so we can try to do a little bit more.
You have a drone now.
Flyovers now. Really are
Shouldn't
trying
have leaked that on the pod, low key, but we didn't talk about that. So
yeah, I don't even know if we said that.
Just let the drone just hit him in the face.
And then we're looking to get more. We wanted to do more cart cam stuff, so GoPro type stuff, and then at least for the quality of like the sound quality in terms of just having a mic on top of the camera, actually getting wired mics with transmitters that can clip like right on your collar. And then like we're looking at the Rode ones right now. Yeah, we have those. That's the Rode Wireless Go 2.
Yes.
The wired, I was looking at the wired ones just because they can go up the back, and the transmitter has better quality in terms of range. But yeah, like just for the quality of it, because sometimes like when you're talking about your shot, and then like, or you're fucking around, like if I'm fucking around with Manny and then I turn to line up and set up and address the ball, I'm talking down towards the ball, and the audio of my voice is going at the ground and not at the mic where the camera is. So it's kind of like we get that for a little bit of the quality.
You should put us on a nice course in Jersey to come film a tea party. And like, you know what I mean? We'll give you some time. We'll say like in June or May or something. Give you some time. You know what I mean?
I take a paternity leave. My company gives me paternity leave. So from April 10th to June 10th, I'm home. I mean, I'm watching my son, but I'm not like working my regular job.
Right.
So anytime May, June, early June, I'm down to play around. We can go. I mean, I'll meet in South Jersey. I'm a little bit more North Jersey, but I know we could play near Atlantic City. I know a lot of good.
Put us on a good spot, because I haven't golfed in Jersey. I want to. Yeah,
it's expensive.
That's all right. That's all right.
If you're in
we've been robbed before, I'll get robbed again, man.
Damn straight. And if you're in North Jersey, I know. I mean, I'm only just saying this because you're closer to New York. Summer's coming. Yankees just re-signed Judge.
Oh my
God,
we
gotta
this
go.
Guy, you can't Stadium. Get away from this shit with this guy.
We gotta go to Yankee Stadium and catch a game.
Are you wearing a Rangers hat?
Patrick Kane, baby. And I'm going tomorrow to Wells Fargo. I'm sitting 6 rows back from the Rangers shoot twice. I was just telling Manny, I don't see a team that beats the Rangers in a 7-game series. The Rangers are now plus 1,200 to win the cup, and you should have got it before the Vladimir Tarasenko trade. I don't see Boston's going to choke. Tampa Bay's going to choke. Avalanche is going to choke. They're not winning again. I don't see a way where they lose at this point. At this rate, I got a Panarin jersey sitting over there. He's reuniting with Panarin. I don't think I've ever been happier as a New York Rangers fan. I mean, this team's so fun. Who's going to be if you get on the power play, if you commit a penalty, well, you might see a goal every single time. You just might. It's gonna be 6-0 tomorrow.
Did you bury the lead and leave out the New Jersey Devils entirely?
I did.
Jack Hughes is arguably, top 5 young player in the league.
And they did just beat the Flyers 7-0 the other night.
All right.
I mean, by default, it's New Jersey. We only have one team left, so I root for the Devils. I never grew up playing hockey, so I'm still learning a little bit about it. But I go to Devils games at Prudential Center. It used to be like you can get in the door for $8. I was sitting 5 rows from the ice for like one time. I think it was $25. Now they're better. Yeah, it's crazy.
We were talking one time. We were like, he sits in these nice ass seats at the Devils game. Like, how is he getting these seats?
Didn't you go?
I mean, we were talking about that shit.
You went to the Wizards game. I tweeted at you there. How'd you get those tickets? You just go down that low? That was crazy.
So because I'm so close to the Garden, I know what expensive tickets cost. Me and my wife wanted like a little weekend getaway since we had the kid. We decided to go to DC.
Nice.
It was $189 a ticket, and I was 6 rows from the court
That's
for Wizards Camp.
crazy.
Now,
what?
For me, who doesn't, for $189, I'm still outside Madison Square Garden. I'm at the fucking bar across the street. So I'm like, I'll pony up. Me and my wife went and checked it out. It was attached to a Caesar sports book. Like, the game was a blowout. The Cavs smoked them, but I wanted to be that close, and just anytime I can get that close to NBA. I mean, I'll never be able to afford to sit courtside at a Knicks game, but maybe if I go to like Charlotte, DC, maybe I could swing that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going tomorrow. This is 6 rows back from where the Rangers shoot twice. $109 a ticket. You just said MSG. I mean, in a rivalry game against the Flyers, we're looking at close to like a $600 ticket. I mean, that's so stupid. So I'm like, why? And now that the Rangers are much better than the Flyers, and the Flyers are kind of struggling, there's going to be more Rangers fans than Flyers fans. So at least I don't have to worry about getting heckled every step I fucking make in that building.
That's part of the reason why Rangers fans travel so well, because like they know how expensive it is at the Garden. So when it's Rangers Devils, it's all fucking Rangers. They're like, yeah, I'll take the PATH train over to Jersey and spend $50 to be on the lower section. Same thing probably happens in Philly. If you ever want to come up and do Devils Rangers, we can get in. I mean, it'll probably be like $120, $150, but you'll be mid to lower level. And Prudential Center is so small, there's no bad seat in the house.
100%. Yeah, I gotta look at the schedule and see if they get him one more time before the end of the year. Listen, that's all that we got for you tonight, Bobby. We seriously appreciate this so much. We're gonna keep you in the loop with Tea Party because we said this. You know what's funny? I gotta cook our own selves up for that because at the end of the first one, in October, we said it, and then it didn't happen, and like that was just we'll take the fucking fault on that one.
I'm down. I really want to play. Maybe we'll get like me and Kenny. Kenny plays. Me and Kenny versus you two. Tea Party.
You guys are
I've been talking to him a little bit, but I'll throw it out there. But no, guys, whenever you want to chop it up, I'm here for it. I think you guys' show was awesome. You are the heartbeat of gambling Twitter. I did not just blow smoke up your ass. So, no, thank you guys.
Yeah, means a lot, man. You take care. We'll be in touch soon. Like I said, just so nice to have a guest on again, and being able to go over your story and all the things that you've done. Just a lot of respect and appreciation for what you're doing, and what you've done in this space so far, and what you'll continue to do. So thank you so much, and we'll talk real soon, Bob.
Thank you, fellas. Take care.
Take care, Bob. What an absolute gem, man. I mean, that's a good one. I don't understand like how we continue to find just great people in this space. Just so we're so lucky.
Klay Thompson of gambling Twitter.
Klay Thompson of gambling Twitter, this gambling space. And listen, as we kind of wrap this up, that was a pure representation of hard work pays off. Still finding a way to work hard.
Double time.
Right? I mean, 9 to 5, and then finding a way to keep it moving, to chase the dream. That's obviously kind of the same path that we want to go down. So just an absolute blast. If you guys have enjoyed this YouTube video and you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button down below. Do not forget to hit that like and comment button. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to do those ratings as well. If you are not already following us on our social media platforms, follow us on Twitter at 80ED Podcast, Instagram at 80ED Pod, and our TikTok, which is simply the name of the show, The All Day Everyday Show. You've been listening to The All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. My name is Alex Jacobs, but you can call me All Day AJ. We will see you when we fucking see you. Thanks, Bob. Prop Holliday. See you in a bit.